So did anyone else really enjoy and appreciate the subtleties of the conversation between Yoshimura and Shinohara at that Anteku shop when they were just talking and whatnot? I never really care about Shinohara, to be honest with you, up until this episode. I don't know, this episode really brought Shinohara out and showed the sympathetic side to him when he was basically, to a small degree, trying to warn. I felt like he was trying to warn, in a way, Yoshimura, like, get out or something like that, because he could tell at the end of the day, this is a good person. Just because he's a ghoul doesn't mean that he's a piece of shit. And the way Yoshimura was kind of like subtly saying, not everyone is bad just because some ghouls are like that and others aren't. And, it just really felt like such an interesting conversation because he was saying it in such a different way, but I think they both knew exactly what he was trying to say. And honestly, it just had a really quiet vibe to it, and it just felt very intimate, I guess you would say. And it was like the calm before the storm, and shit's about to hit the fan. But this episode, very good setup episode. Normally setup episodes is like, oh, okay, it was good or whatever, but it just felt like everything, all the emotion and intensity packed into it is really building up for the final few episodes, because it's like things is gonna hit the fan, and really soon. So at the beginning of this episode, we get the backstory of Yoshimura, and it's a tragic one. I'll definitely say that comparing it to the manga, to be honest with you, there's a lot of elements I really wish was more in there. There was more depth to exactly what it was that Yoshimura's woman did to keep the baby alive and whatnot. But overall, just his backstory in general, you get to see this lonely monster that found love and then ultimately lost it again, and kind of makes you wonder exactly what organization was that he was involved in. A lot of questions arose regarding his backstory and everything, and just kind of like made things like, where was he? What was going on and whatnot? But overall, it was just beautifully done. Tragic. It was very quick, unfortunately. Again, that's the whole problem with Tokyo Ghoul in general. Like, if each season had 24 episodes, I honestly think this could have been like damn near masterpiece level. But regardless of what, it was still nicely done, to be honest with you. And just Yoshimura is such a awesome character. Like, I would honestly say he is an awesome character with a sad backstory. This old man, just trying to live his days out, whatever. And it kind of makes you wonder. So we find out in this one, his child was the one-eyed. Where's his child? What's going on? What type of relationship they have at this particular point? So while we get some answers, we get even more questions. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's a big freaking answer. Like, Yoshimura is the father to the one-eye that they've been hunting down and everything. So it really gets you fucking excited. And a sad backstory, but also gives a lot of exposition and gives you a lot of answers with still raising some questions. And I honestly would say, from Tokyo Ghoul Route A, one of the things that definitely I feel should have been cut out, and I get why it wasn't included in the manga, is a lot, not everything, but definitely a lot of the Toka stuff, simply because certain elements of it, not everything, again, I like that it's expanding more on her relationship with Kaneki and how much she really cares for him and whatnot, but just sometimes it just feels like it doesn't really necessarily connect to everything else that's going on. Like, and you can see that she's using this whole school thing to a certain degree to get her mind off of Kaneki. I think that that's one of the things that she's using as like, okay, let me replace this void with constantly putting my all into the school stuff. She already was into that thing, and part of her character is wanting to be beautiful and kind of blend in with society or whatnot, but I think that she's also legitimately using the school stuff to get her mind off of him. So in that aspect it works, but then at the same time it's just like you have all the stuff going on with the Dobes and Teiku, everything going on with Kaneki and whatnot, and then you just kind of have her side story, and it's like her talking to Yoriko sometimes just feels out of place, I guess. And again, I understand why it wasn't included in the manga, and sometimes with Route A I kind of feel as though, yeah, the manga got it right the second time around. Probably should have just stuck to that route. And even the small subtleties of like Anteku being a true family, where the red ape and that other chick is like, yo, we're gonna stay here regardless of what. You could tell they're preparing for war and it's gonna go down. I don't know how they're gonna do it, because from the speed that they've been going with, they're gonna have to cover, a decent, amount of stuff within 4 episodes, and they probably could do it in 2. So I don't know if the pacing is going to slow down a bit, if they're going to rear a little different way, and it's not going to happen, because from my mind, I'm guessing it's going to happen similar to how the manga ended, the original manga Tokyo Ghoul, before the sequel came out, Re or whatever. I'm guessing that that's how it's going to happen, and I won't spoil it, whatever, because if it does happen, I can tell you one thing, it's going to be an insane ending. But the way things have been going, and this is the original ideas of the author or whatnot, it might not go that route. And again, with 4 episodes remaining, if I'm correct, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure it's 4 episodes remaining. I don't know how they're going to handle this or whatever, so it's definitely got me interesting how they're going to do it. Are they just going to slow down the pacing? Is there going to be a lot of different things going on? And I mean, it just really sucks at the end of the day, because it goes a lot deeper, and I mean, the situation that they're in sucks, where Yoshimura and Shinohara, under different circumstances, probably could have sat and had coffee every day or whatever, and it's unfortunate that the surroundings, everything around people can ruin a great relationship, and that just really is the truth of it. And honestly, I felt like this episode really made me finally see the value in Shinohara. And if this was what Sui Ishida was trying to show this detective, that at the end of the day is trying to do his job, but he has some sort of sense of, you know, good inside of him, I guess you could say, I get it, and I respect that. I mean, it cuts out of Amon, because I think Amon should have been a larger piece, and if anything, that could have been like Amon's conversation, but Sui should have made Shinohara finally stand out for me and actually worthwhile. And yeah, for a setup episode, yet again, very good stuff. Honestly, I felt like it just hit home with a lot of different things, especially Yoshimura's past and where he's at right now, the connections to the One-Eyed, him being his father. There's like a lot of things going down, and I know Kaneki is getting ready, and I can't wait. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hype. Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul, baby. 8.5 out of 10 for this bad boy. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. How did you feel about that conversation? Honestly, it's just a small conversation between two people that are saying things in different, like in codes, so to speak, and it still felt so powerful. It really did. And do you agree with me that to a certain extent, Toka's involvement in the anime right now just kind of feels a little bit off compared to everything else that's going on? Your overall thoughts of the episode, man. Tokyo Ghoul, it may not be like the manga, and you know, certain things are different, whatever, but this setup, I can't wait. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.